What's up, everybody? This is Marshall Lee of DonkeyJawProjects.com, and I got a video for you. So I was actually just talking to a friend about this, but I opened up my video editing thing that I have in on my phone, which is how I make a lot of my videos. And I already have, this kind of process video of me working on Darby Cufflink, Gentleman Avenger of Comics. And I'm sitting in a truck. There's the windows at lunchtime. And so I figured, let me talk over it, because I'm really actually inspired by this kind of topic. And so there's been this whole thing with Comicsgate and the what are they called, the SJWs, and this kind of war. And I've been paying attention to it a little bit, and I don't really, I'm not gonna, I've said publicly a couple times now, I really like Jason Brubaker's take on it, and that's basically to just focus on your own comic. Don't worry about all that stuff, basically. And I still feel the same way. I do have strong opinions about some of these things, but I'm not gonna get all on any kind of pedestal with it. But one thing I do notice is with the Comicsgate people, they're making a lot of money off of this kind of Comicsgate thing. And I guess the SJWs are too, through Marvel and DC, I guess. I don't know. Again, I don't really want to talk about their specific thing, but just this idea that they're finding a readership through this. And, it's great and all. I don't have a problem with people finding a readership through almost any means, as long as they're not hurting people or whatever. And arguments can be made on whether certain people are hurting people or whatever. But, my point is, I don't begrudge them or anybody who makes good money off of comics. That's, I think, an awesome thing. I love comics. I think comics are awesome, and they should be way bigger of a part of kind of culture, I think. But we're seeing, that's the thing is, how do we as creators, how do we harness the power of comics? And I don't mean the power so that we can make $1 million and become famous and all that stuff. Those things may happen, I don't know. But I don't, that's not the part I care about. The part I care about is the medium is just an awesome medium. There's nothing like comics, except for, every medium has its own unique thing about it. Movies are amazing in the way, for certain reasons. Music is amazing in other reasons. TV shows are amazing for other reasons. And I feel like comics are really amazing for some reasons too. So what we're seeing is a group of people, the Comicsgate people, who are harnessing the power of comics to a certain degree. And they're the ones they're making a huge mark right now with that. As far as selling comics. But is it even about comics? It kind of is, but it's kind of about a political thing in comics, really. It's more politically charged than anything. And I'm sure their comics are awesome. I'm curious to see Cyber Frog and some of these other comics. But I'm not going to pay $25 for them. I don't have the money to pay for that. I wish I did. But I'm not going to pay $25 for a comic. I don't even like paying $5 for a comic. That's why I love Alterna. I love what they're doing. They're, to me, closer to the true idea of harnessing the power of comics. I can buy 5 of their comics for $8-10 or less, you know, and have a good read, you know. So, you know, I don't know, like, to me, comics are powerful, but they're not, their power is like neutered right now or something. I don't know, like their power is not being harnessed right now, except for by some politically charged groups. But you got these movies that are highly popular. This is the evidence that comics are popular, are powerful. You know, these these movies wouldn't exist if it wasn't for these amazing comics. So, you know, I don't know, like, there have been other movements than a politically charged movement in the past, for comics. You know, you can find it all through history. I'll often go back to the Image days because that's what I kind of grew up with. But there's also, that was just one movement though. Image had like a second movement when Kirkman came on board and they started opening it up to more people. So that was an amazing movement too. And that's grown comics. But way back in the past, I mean, when Kirby and Stan Lee and Ditko got together, that was a huge movement. I mean, comics started selling like crazy, you know. When Superman first came out, Superman was selling in the millions at 10 cents a copy, but they were selling millions of copies, you know. We don't sell millions of comics. Nobody sells millions of comics anymore. But they have the power to do that. EC Comics sold, they sold like crazy pre-code, you know, with their crime comics and horror comics. And there was a power there. And the power has something to do with story. It has something to do with the medium of putting words and pictures together. Manga comics, look at that, like, especially in Japan, holy crap, like, manga has power. Most mangas turn into amazing animes. Like, what? Like, that's crazy. Anime, I mean, animations are so hard to make, and it happens because there's power there. There's something behind these stories, you know. So, I don't know. I'm just curious, like, how can we harness that power? And I think it has to do with how do we get it into the hands of common people? I was talking to my friend, like, I'm sitting here, you know, on lunch in Target parking lot, and I go to Walmart or Target, you know, I might go like 10 times this month. And I love comics, but I'll probably only go to the comic shop at most 4 times this month, or probably more like 1 time this month, or 1 time in a month and a half. And I love comics. I make comics. You know, the common person may never go to a comic shop in their whole life, but they go to Walmart and Target every day. They go to GameStop more times than they go to a comic shop, you know? Like, how do we get comics to the common folk? And that's what we used to do, you know? We used to do that with newsstands and spinner racks, and, you know, so there's that, but also just the power of story, like, you know, good stories that have a beginning and an ending, and, you know, the power of comics is being harnessed in Japan. Why can't it be harnessed here? You know, what can we do to make comics awesome and have it be the content that is what people look at, and not the ideological belief behind the person who makes it? Who cares about that? When that ideologic belief becomes unpopular or sours, then what happens? You know, does anybody care about the comic anymore? You know? Let's have comics be the focus and find a way to harness the power of comics, you know? So, I don't know. It's kind of an open-ended thing. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this, and if you have any ideas of how we can do this, you know? Let's do it in a positive way that's content-based, you know? The actual stories are the focus, you know? So anyways, thanks for listening. I hope you guys have an awesome day, And yeah, if you want to check out this comic story, you can go to patreon.com/DonkeyJawProjects, and that's where I'll be publishing this Darby Cufflink book. Anyways, love you guys, and I will talk to you on the next video. All right, peace out.